tremendously important gathering with such gracious hospitality and excellent organization. Yesterday, I visited the areas of the city of Sendai hardest hit by the tsunami 4 years ago. It was really overwhelming to think of the lives lost, the whole communities washed away in the waves, and the people who could never return to the highest risk areas. Equally, I was moved by the Gambaru spirit and tenacity of the people of Sendai and the Tohoku region, their hope for the future, and their vision of building back better. What we have seen and learned in Sendai, together with the devastating news from Vanuatu and Tuvalu, for which I would like to extend my deepest condolences, these tragedies should make us all committed to delivering the strongest possible successor to the Tohoku Framework for Action. Madam Chair, distinguished delegates, the world's refugees and displaced people have an important stake in the success of this conference. This is no marginal concern. Today, forced displacement in the world is at the highest levels since the Second World War. More than 50 million people around the globe have been uprooted by conflict and persecution. If they were a country, the refugees and displaced people would be the 26th most populous nation on earth. Refugees and displaced people do not have a seat in this conference hall as such, but they must have a place in our concern and in the new post-2015 framework for disaster risk reduction. Refugees and displaced people are among the most vulnerable and exposed to natural hazards. The majority live in disaster-prone areas and climate change hotspots. Refugee camps and settlements are often sited on land that was not traditionally seen as suitable for human settlement. We looked at the data, and we found that those living in camps and settlements are many times more likely than the general population to suffer from the effects of floods, landslides, severe storms, and other natural hazards. Having been forced to flee conflict and persecution, many refugees are displaced yet again by natural disasters. More than 100,000 last year alone. Of course, refugee camps and settlements only describe part of the reality today. More than half of all refugees, millions of people live in urban areas. They settle in the poorer parts of town and crowd into informal settlements that lack adequate housing, infrastructure, and access to basic services. They share the same high exposure to natural hazards as the local people do, and they should be part of national disaster risk reduction strategies and response planning. Typically, they are not. Unlike other foreign nationals and migrants, refugees cannot return to their embassies for assistance or be evacuated home when there is danger, because their own countries are not safe for them. They will stay, they can contribute, and they need to be part of the plan. With these considerations in mind, UNHCR calls upon the Third World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction to adopt a new framework that recognizes that the displacement dimension, the displacement reality of natural disasters. The framework should incorporate an inclusive approach to building resilience and ensuring effective response for all affected people and communities. We are encouraged that the draft under discussion includes provisional language on displacement and human mobility, and would also encourage policies aimed at preventing settlement in disaster risk zones and the relocation of settlements at risk. This is extremely important. Madam Chair, distinguished delegates, UNHCR's principal concern is with protecting, assisting, and finding solutions for people uprooted by conflict and persecution, and for those who are stateless. At the same time, we are conscious that the line between conflict and natural disasters is often blurred. When drought brings nomadic herders and farmers into competition for scarce land and water, conflicts can result. Effective disaster risk reduction strategies thus can help reduce the tensions and pressures that accelerate conflict and have a longer-term preventive impact that decreases the possibility of refugee flows across borders. At UNHCR, we'll continue, as we must, on responding to conflict-related displacement. We'll also lend our support to governments in meeting the challenges of natural disasters and where our protection and other expertise is needed. For all of these reasons, we hope to see a strong new global framework for disaster risk reduction emerge from the deliberations here in Sendai. And we look forward to working with governments and our many partners to ensure effective implementation, building the evidence base through data collection, and contributing to policy development in key areas such as planned relocation. Madam Chair, distinguished delegates, thank you for your attention.